Comfort, oh comfort, my people. I began writing this homily on Wednesday afternoon. I hadn't experienced anything like the exile endured by the original readers of Isaiah's tender words. But being exiled from my office by a COVID-19 scare was quite bad enough. I was in need of some comfort. So I lie on my belly in my bed in my cozy downtown condo home and drink in Isaiah's words. Comfort. Oh, comfort my people. I wrapped them around me like a warm blankie. But full credit to Sarah, who later gave me this metaphor. Isaiah's words are soothing in the moment as a lullaby. Then I read on to find words of comfort are soon replaced with words of blame. It's your own fault, Jerusalem. While this Babylonian invasion may have hit harder than you deserve, you did bring it on yourself, you know. My first reaction to that is a jolt of anger. Now that's just not fair, I rage. How dare you talk about being paid double for all your sins? The truth is, regardless of any provocation the Israelite leaders may have offered the Babylonians, there is absolutely no justification for their slaughter and enslavement of a lot of ordinary people who just wanted to get on with getting on. Do not, I scream inside my head, blame the victims for the crimes perpetrated against them. Do not blame the refugees displaced by other people's wars. Do not blame people who are houseless in a pandemic, who are suffering twofold, tenfold, and 100-fold, who are victims of years of social economic policies that pretty much guaranteed that some would end up with palatial dwellings while others would live in fearful threat of being turfed out of grossly inadequate encampments. I decide that I don't want anything more to do with that false comforter, Isaiah. I want to find something more comfortable to read. But then I get it. Or at least I think I begin to get it. Isaiah's needs and emotions are as mixed as my own. He's as all over the place as I am. One moment, it's compassion and comfort for all who are hurting. One moment, it's aching need to soothe, to heal, and to actively participate in the emergence of fullness of life for all. The next moment, it's pitch hot anger and desire to make those responsible pay for getting us in this mess. There's reactive seeking after the easy, ultimately delusional fix of finding someone on whom to pin the blame. Somewhere along the line, a whole lot of us were taught that the words of prophets like Isaiah, biblical prophets that is, were really not their words. We were taught that the emotions they expressed were not really their emotions. We were taught to listen for the authoritative voice of God through them, through the words of the prophets. We were taught to expect God's comfort and God's anger. And through our life experiences, we soon learned that we could never quite predict which would come when. I can think of two possible responses to such a God. We could respond with fear and subservience. We could deny our own needs and our very selves by constantly trying to predict what's wanted and trying desperately to please. Or we could outright reject such a God. We could stop reading his supposed words and stop accepting his false comfort and sometimes his equally false blame. But what if the words of comfort and blame we heard today do not come from some supposed perfection of being and behavior we call God? What if the words we heard today are really just Isaiah's words? What if they are the words of a human being, just like us, trying to articulate the painful complexities of emotion that arise in devastating circumstances? What if all this time we, and I dare to include the prophet in that we have been projecting human thoughts and human emotions onto God? What if, in rejecting what we find uncomfortable in the prophet's writings, we're not so much rejecting God as we are rejecting what pains us in humanity and in ourselves? We care deeply, and we seek care. We seek comfort, and we offer it. We need soothing, and we seek to soothe. We judge both ourselves and others. We blame both ourselves and others. We get overcome with anger, mostly towards others. We get our emotions all tied up in knots. We go too far in our punishment of those we feel have wronged us or who we believe have ruined something for us. What if we begin to read the scriptures, not for what they can tell us about God, but for what they can reflect back to us about ourselves? What if we were to begin to read the scriptures for what they show us about being human? for what they can tell us about the healing that flourishes. Whenever we accept the reality of who we are and what we truly believe about the messed up world in which we live and all the messed up people who share it with us. So I come finally to the focus of the second Sunday of Advent. Just how far could such compassionate acceptance of self and others lead us down the path to peace? If we were to choose to live more fully into our messy and contradictory humanity, rather than trying to do a surface cleaning of it, would we be helping to prepare the path for peace to come among us? I believe we would. Over and over again, my own experience tells me it is so. Only when we are at peace within ourselves can we begin to share peace with others. And then, could the world be about to turn?